The Pokemon world is a very vast place. So vast, in fact, that we haven't really come close to seeing all that it has to offer. In the main series, we have seen 9 different regions so far, but there are even more regions and areas of this world that have either been implied or even confirmed to exist that have never been shown to us. And exploring these mysterious unseen regions and what secrets they could be hiding is what this video is all about. So without further ado, let's take a look. The first region we're going to take a look at here is one that a lot of people overlook, and might not even know is even a thing at all. And that would be the original home of the Garchomp family. Yes, believe it or not, Garchomp and its pre-evolutions are not from the Sinnoh region, or seemingly any other region we have seen before to this point, as it states in Gibble's Pokemon Pearl Dex entry that it once lived in the tropics. To avoid the cold, it lives in caves warmed by geothermal heat. Now, to this point, the tropics has actually translated to Alola when it comes to Pokemon, as Exeggutor's Dex entries also mentioned it coming from the tropics before Alolan Exeggutor was revealed, who has subsequently basically been confirmed to be the original form of the Pokemon. But the interesting thing is, the games actually go out of their way to confirm that these Pokemon's home region isn't Alola either. In Gibble's Ultra Moon Dex entry, it states, its original home is an area much hotter than Alola. If you're planning to live with one, your heating bill will soar. So basically, we know that these Pokemon originally lived somewhere in the tropics, but that place isn't Alola, and is in fact much hotter than Alola. So where could this mysterious region be? Well, I think the most likely candidate is actually a region based on Australia. This is because parts of Australia lie within the area known as the tropics that surround the equator in our real world. Additionally, it also does get quite hot in Australia, and Australia is also famously known as the upside down place, and frankly, you honestly couldn't ask for a better fit than that for a shark Pokemon that walks on land. The theming is just perfect. Australia is also one of the most highly requested areas of the world to become a Pokemon region, and I'm sure Game Freak has it on their radar because of that, so this is one that I could absolutely see us getting the chance to actually see someday, and have it be the case that it is Gibble's home region as well. So hopefully that eventually will come to fruition. The next region on this list that I want to discuss is an especially mysterious one, and that is the region of Sinjoh. Now, the term Sinjoh might sound familiar to you because it was first introduced over a decade ago with the introduction of the Sinjoh ruins in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. These ruins are said to have been built by tribes of people from both Sinnoh and Johto, hence the name, and their location lies somewhere north of the Johto region, seemingly in between Johto and Sinnoh themselves, as we also know that Sinnoh is the northernmost of all of the Japanese-based regions. With that said, the term Sinjoh was brought back to the forefront in Pokemon Legends Arceus thanks to the old verses. The old verses are basically small little tidbits of lore that can be found all over the region in this game, and one of them mentions Sinjoh, but refers to it as if it is an entire region of its own instead of just a bunch of ruins. Old verse 12 reads as follows: "Wintry, austere, brimming with strange power, certainly the land of Hisui bears some resemblance to Sinjoh." As mentioned, this refers to Sinjoh as if it is a land of its own, just like Hisui, and not just the Sinjoh ruins, meaning the Sinjoh ruins could possibly be named after the land they reside in, and not just the people who built it, who likely also settled the surrounding area as well and made it a region of their own and gave it that same name. Additionally, we also know that Sinjoh doesn't refer to one of the other nearby regions either, since each of them, like Kanto, Johto, and Hoenn, are mentioned at some point in the game with their modern name. And since we also know, like I said, that the Sinjoh ruins sit on land that is somewhere between the Johto and Sinnoh regions, that proves that there is land there for a region to exist, likely meaning that this land is the land of Sinjoh that is referred to in the old verses, and is in fact a region of its own. This is easily one of the most mysterious places in the entire Pokemon world, and it's only gotten more intriguing and mysterious with these revelations. But I sadly don't know if we'll ever come around to exploring it some more, meaning that the Sinjoh region will probably stay a mystery for years to come. The third region I have to talk about today is another very intriguing one, and that is the Holon region. Ironically, you might know more about the Holon region from an unofficial source rather than from the official franchise itself, as Holon is a region that features in the popular fan game Pokémon Insurgence. However, Holon isn't just a creation of this unofficial fan game. Holon is an official Pokemon region that featured within the TCG and is home to the iconic Delta Pokemon. Delta Pokemon are a type of Pokemon in the TCG, similar to regional variants that have different types to what they normally do, and they all reside within this region. Thanks to this region being featured in the TCG, we also have several pieces of artwork that actually depict several locales in this region as well, and give us a little bit of a glimpse of the kind of place it actually is. As a matter of fact, the Holon region even has an established backstory as well, as according to various press releases and information from the TCG itself, the Holon region was settled by people who wanted to find the mythical Pokemon Mew. In their efforts to find Mew, the people of Holon attempted to use the unique magnetic properties of the area in order to track it, but waves of electromagnetic energy that were produced in order to facilitate this tracking ended up affecting the local Pokemon population, resulting in mutations that gave them their new and unusual typings. So, thanks to the TCG, we actually know a lot more about this region than we do the others on this list. However, due to it being a TCG exclusive region, we haven't gotten to ever explore it or see it featured or mentioned in the games, with the exception of the unofficial Pokemon Insurgence. That makes it a slightly different entry on this list, admittedly, but it's nevertheless extremely fascinating considering it's a region with an actual name that has art depicting what it actually looks like, and it even has an interesting backstory as well. It's the kind of thing that's just dying to be explored further, but to this point it has not been touched by the main series games officially. On that note, however, a sort of follow-up to my points on Holon concerns Mew and its home region. Mew has consistently been referred to as being from South America, and more specifically, Guyana. Granted, these claims were made during the franchise's earlier days, before real-world references eventually ceased to exist. However, it can still generally be assumed that Mew is indeed from this part of the world with respect to Pokemon, meaning that it's from a South American Pokemon region that we of course have never seen before, since South America has yet to receive a Pokemon region of its own. So, what could Mew's home region be like, other than just being somewhere within the vicinity of South America? Well, there's actually two possible options. The first option is that we have actually already seen this region before, albeit a very small section of it. In Gen 3, an event to obtain Mew was released that had players traveling to a place known as Faraway Island in order to obtain it. Given the fact that this island is far away, its appearance seems to resemble that of South America, and that a message on the island seems to tie back to Dr. Fuji and his records of finding Mew that are in the Pokemon Mansion on Cinnabar Island, where it was initially mentioned that Mew was from South America, it might actually be the case that Faraway Island is this South American region that Mew calls home, or at least it's a small part of it. The other option for what Mew's home region could be, meanwhile, is that it is actually the region of Holon itself that was discussed in the previous section. Mew is what the people of Holon were reportedly there for after all, so it would make sense that they were there looking for Mew because that is Mew's home region. Additionally, the images of Holon that we have do seem to resemble the faraway island that we see in the games, so it's entirely possible that the two are in fact one and the same, meaning that we have actually seen the Holon region in the games, if only for a brief moment. That honestly makes the whole Holon situation even more fascinating, to be honest. So hopefully someday we'll get to see Mew's home region for real, and whether or not it is actually the region of Holon. Moving along from the possibilities of where Mew is from, though, our next mysterious region is the apparent Indian region of the Pokemon world. Yes, based on certain information, it seems like an Indian Pokemon region has actually been implied to exist on multiple occasions, which is what makes it so interesting. The first and probably most obvious mention of this possible region comes from Copperajah and its Pokedex entries in Sword and Shield. In Copperajah's Pokemon Sword Dex entry, it states, "They came over from another region long ago and worked together with humans." This mention, combined with the fact that Copperajah is clearly Indian-inspired, seems to imply the existence of an Indian Pokemon region quite significantly. However, as I said, there are seemingly multiple mentions of a region like this that exist, which seems to also seal the deal on it indeed existing somewhere within the Pokemon world. If we turn back the clock one generation from Copperajah and take a look at Yungoos from Alola, its dex entry from Pokemon Sun states that, with its sharp fangs, it will bite anything. It did not originally live in Alola, but was imported from another region. This bit of backstory is actually based on a particular piece of history where the small Indian mongoose was imported to Hawaii, Alola's inspiration, to deal with the local rat population, which is also what inspired Alolan Rattata. So, in a nutshell, we have two Pokemon in back-to-back generations with Indian origins who are also stated in the Pokedex to not be from the region in which they were introduced. That is about as solid of a case as you can make for an Indian region existing without actually having seen it for ourselves. I feel like if it had been just one mention of a region like this, it would be just a neat little tidbit or a piece of trivia and we could leave it at that. But with two Pokemon making a reference to seemingly the same hypothetical region, and doing it in back-to-back generations, which have also been two of the most recent generations as well, it seems like we might actually have something substantial here. And with this being such a recent development, it'll be interesting to see if any more references to this are made in the near future, or whether we'll actually get to see this possible region for ourselves someday. With that said though, what do you guys think about all this? Which of these mysterious regions would you want to see for yourself the most? Be sure to let me know in the comments below, and leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new for more. With that said, I'll be back with another video very soon, and until then, as always, thanks so much for watching this one, I really appreciate it, and I will smell you guys later.